Okay, buckle up. This is going to be kind of a long row to hoe here. So we're on the east side of the house. We're behind the gate. We're going around counterclockwise. This is the primary suite. This is a primary suite bathroom window. We've got a control joint over here that never had sealant in it. They used brick mortar. Sealant's more pliable, so it moves like this. So that should be refilled with sealant. And I say moves like that because we can see where the movement's coming. If you look up around the windows above this, and you can't because the sun's in your eyes, but you can see where the freeze board is separating up there a little bit. Now around the foundation perimeter, this is brick. Brick is a very good building material. Okay, this home could burn down or you could reuse the brick. It's a wood structure home. Now, having said that, and it's a very good insulator, but it's also porous. So any water that hits this goes straight through it. And we have a drainage plane behind the brick. We have weep holes. Most of the time, the only thing that comes out of the weep holes is vapor. I get that. They will bleed. We got weep holes to allow the water out. Now, we've compromised. Well, we used lintels, steel lintels, to reinforce the brickwork. They're supporting brickwork above them. This window does not have a lintel because it's not supporting brick. This window is supporting brick. It has a lintel. Anytime you have a lintel, you're disrupting the drainage plane. So we should have a weep hole over the windows, the fenestrations, over the windows and doors, and we don't have that. We don't have that. We got some more I'm going to show you, but we don't, as a general rule, for all of our regular folks types windows and all our regular folks types doors, okay, we do not have weep holes. Then over here, okay, we got a crack in the 45-degree angle. We got a gap in our window ledge right there. Think water can get in there? I do. Where do termites live? In the ground. What do they eat? Dead wood. What's wood mulch? Dead wood on the ground next to your house. That's called a clue. That's called a clue. And we do not have weep holes over our lintels like this. We got a power vent right there. A solar powered attic vent. Alright. We've got solar panels. Solar panels are beyond the scope of this inspection. Alright. In fact, power vents are beyond the scope of this inspection. This gazebo is beyond the scope of the inspection. And paving stones, pavers, are beyond the scope of this inspection. Now, having said that, these pavers are not dimensionally uniform. If somebody is mentally challenged, geriatric, handy-capable, they might have a trouble, mountain goating across these pavers. The gazebo is beyond the scope of this inspection. This looks like it was a manufactured gazebo, so it was bolted together. It was designed to go like this. Now, part of the way this was all fastened was with screws, and all these screws seem to match. So that might have been by design. And the manufacturer specification supersedes what I would know if I was looking at a scratch-built gazebo, and I came in here and I found all those screws. I would normally call that as a deficiency if I was in fact inspecting the gazebo, like I'm not inspecting the gazebo. So we coming on along here, even though those screws were manufactured, part of the process that came with the kit, the manufacturer specified these. Well, we come over here and screws are backed out. These screws, and that screw doesn't match. We got two loose screws over here, and that screw doesn't match, so we've got that. Also on the electrical side, it is GFCI protected out here. And we got a little split over here. A little split right up there in the southwest corner, excuse me, house faces south. But we've got these novelty lights put around here. And a couple of them are burned out. Some of them are not glowing. And we're not supposed to use an extension cord in a permanent application. I get it. These are party lights, man. I get that. But you're not supposed to use extension cords and permanent applications, and people do and people will, and it is what it is. There's that. But that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the siding should not be in direct contact with the roof covering to keep water from wicking up into the roof. And then down here, while we got a little elbow coming out, it's not a true kick out to actually put the water into the rain gutter to bring the rain gutter over. Okay? So we should have had something like that. And that goes for both sides, by the way. That side's a little higher. But we're going to get a camera pole out here. Then moving on along, we don't have our weep holes. I get that. Right in here, we can tell, okay, if we use our forensic imaginations, and it might be wholly our imagination, but it looks to me, it appears as if there's been some mortar repairs in these 45s. So there's mortar repairs in the 45s. Coming on along, we've got a gas port over here on the patio. Have you been capped off? I didn't even notice you. Alright. And it has not been capped off. A gas port not in use should be capped off. Okay. Our water collects around here, it drips right in here. That's why we got, that's not the best pour. Because if the water stays right there, then, then there's the moss, there's the mosquitoes. I am not testing the GFCIs on the exterior. Alright, I wish I could. I would normally. I'm prepared to. I came prepared to. But the garage is just too... There's our method right there. The garage is too packed full of preciousness. Moving on along. That GFCI does work. It was an addition to the exterior, and I made a foolish decision and went ahead and did it. Okay, now these lintels that I've been talking about, they're supposed to extend a minimum of 6 inches into the brickwork. This one just doesn't do it. And we should have weep holes over our lintels. Oh, we do. Well, somebody covered them up. Somebody covered them up. So when the water comes in, it'll cause your lintel to rust. If your lintel rusts, then it expands. If it expands, it's going to crack your brickwork. Now, this wall has a unique feature in it, is that mid-wall, this is the north wall over the garage, has lintels midway to help support the brick, because I guess we've got so much brick over the garage doors. We give these lintels some help. That one definitely extends over 6 inches. Look at that. Okay, it's just that one seems a little short. So we've got these lintels going across here. Once again, just like if this lintel, which has a weep hole, we've disrupted the drainage plane, and we should have weep holes above those lintels. And then we got a crack between the middle of the window and the lintel right here. And then we've got another crack over here on the end of the lintel, going down towards this carriage sconce luminary. Okay, so we've got that. Now, if I have to go against one of these walls to reset a GFCI, it's probably not going to work out real well for everybody. Okay, it's not going to work real well for the seller. It's not going to work out real well for the home inspector. The agents are all going to be... It's just going to be World War III if I do this. I mean, Putin has nothing on me if I go in here and mess everybody else's stuff on that. Now, over here, on our vertical garage door casement, they come down, they're cut away from the concrete. This is irony at its best. They're cut away from the concrete to help prevent water from wicking up and rotting, causing wood rot. And then, what do we have over here? We got wood rot anyway. Happens anyway. How about that? Okay. Happens anyway. As we go along, I told you it was going to be a long one, didn't I? This is a gate. Gates are beyond the scope of this inspection. This gate's kind of rough. There's your gas meter over there. You don't see it? Okay. Power gates are beyond the scope of this inspection, but this power gate happens to have a warning notice posted on it. As a courtesy, I would mention that. But our gate chain is dragging on the sidewalk, and you can see all the rust stains there. It's a rusty chain. This chain should be serviced. It should be serviced. This chain should be tightened and lubricated. so that it operates for you better. You know? We'll work our way around the tomato cages, go past the flagstone. This is where the gas enters the home. Okay, this is the main shutoff to the gas, and we have a branch over here that goes to the kitchen cooktop. And it's nice that you got a separate regulator for the kitchen cooktop, but you don't have a sediment trap for the kitchen cooktop. Moving on along, we got a whole video for this. Moving on along, we've got a vertical crack through the brickwork right in here, and then the freeze board is separating from the brickwork right here at this corner next to that cornice. We move on along, we got a whole video for the condensing units. Okay, 3 systems, upstairs, downstairs, and primary bedroom suite. Coming on along, looking, because we're lookers. Coming on along, we're missing a window screen altogether. Missing our lintels. Like I said, this whole plane right here looks pretty good. We got some separation. It's the upstairs bedroom. Actually, a little bit of separation right there too. With the upstairs bathroom west wall, we got some separation on the 90-degree angles around the window. Our lintel separation. A tree shouldn't be closer than 25 feet to the slab foundation. Just saying. And speaking of slab foundation, this is a slab foundation. It's got a little bit of a parge coat on it. It's like a cake frosting, and it's a post-tension slab. There's a couple maybe 3, I don't know, but there are different types of slab foundations, post-tension slabs. I don't know which one this is. I do know that that's pretty much the cat's meow. This is a retaining wall. That's a retaining wall. The rule of thumb, okay, the rule of thumb that if a retaining wall is twice its height away from the house, it should have no immediate effect on the structure. Alright, but this retaining wall is moving. It's moving here. Okay, it's moving here. Okay, it's moving here. Alright, and the beat goes on. It continues to move. Moves there. So while technically this might be outside of the scope of my inspection, I feel obligated to say that it's not performing very well. It'll be, it's an expense. It's an expense. I'm not saying it's an expense that needs to occur today, but it's something to be made aware of. Now when you have a semicircular window like this, it creates kind of a Roman arch. That's the support for the brickwork above it. Lintel is not required, so we don't have weep holes. Got some separation between the sealant and the window frame here. To the best of my knowledge, my best guess is that this is the main water shutoff valve to the house. Can you see one in there? I can't see one in there at all. That should be excavated. You should be able to see a valve. You should be able to wrap your hand around it if you have one, which is kind of a plumbing thing. By the way, I cannot open the water meter. I have 2 keys. I have 3 different options on 2 keys, and I wasn't able to get the water meter open. So I wasn't able to see if you had a water leak. I was able to tell that you've got 100 psi come into the house, at least 100 psi come into the house. There you go. So, moving on along, I already talked about the sealant, did I not? Okay, coming on along here, we've already talked about wood mulch, did I not? Now, in the portico, some people are of the opinion that this is protected enough that that weather cover is sufficient for an exterior receptacle. Alright, barring that, wind-driven rain, Christmas lights, those kinds of things, I'm going to report that it does not have an in-use cover. It's like a little helmet, a little bubble cover. Moving on along, checking some things out. We got some mortar repair over here, and we got some cracks again in the mortar repair. So it's moved since it was repaired. Got high soil on both sides. This little turret feature. Okay, trees too close. High soil, high soil. You look up here, you've got water stains. If you look up here, you see the soffit goes, we got some water damage on the soffit right there. If you look up here, you see that the rain gutter, okay, is in direct contact with the wall. There should be about an inch difference. We should have kick-out flashing. There's a type of kick-out flashing right there. This kick-out flashing is not complete. Now that's right in front of a window. That's a very precarious area. All the water running off the roof right there. Where do you think it's going to go? It's going to go in your window. Oh my goodness, are you kidding? No. All right, but over here, okay, we got a gap. We didn't make the corner. We don't really have kick-out flashing. We just have a diverter up there. And we can see our soffits rotting over there, and we can see all the water stains coming in the mortar on the brickwork right in here. And then we got a lintel over here. This little archway, this walkway through our vestibule. Now it's a vestibule. Well, with this bush here, it's really not a vestibule. It's still a portico, but we got a little door, a little opening on the side there. And we got a lintel in there that's kind of rusting. And we got foam inside of the lintel right in there. Look at that. Why do we have that? It's because it's all the water's been getting in there and causing all that damage. This detail right here is just an ongoing event. Moving on along. See, this one's actually got the kick out. It's actually performing a little better than the higher one, one on the west side. The one on the east side seems to be, you know, helping things. Look at there. Some of the ground is separating and pulling away from the structure right in here. These are double sewer cleanouts. They're over here on the west side of the front portico. That's where the meter is. That's where the lawn sprinkler check valve is. It's got its own problems, but we've got a whole video dedicated to that. Moving on along. Rain gutter's too close, like I said. How does that? And we should have kick-out flashing. I get it. That's not a lot of territory right there. That's not a real big drainage plane. You'll probably never have a problem with it. And this window, this is we're missing a screen. This window is the downstairs guest bedroom, and the sealant is separating from the window frame and the brickwork right there at the arch. And then we kind of sneak through here, through the weeds. Alright, this seems to be okay. Got a crazy cattywampus screen right there. Got another condensing unit here. Got another condensing unit video. Moving on along. You didn't see this before. I mean, I saw this before. You're not seeing it now, but there's some our secondary drain. Oh, it's on the other side. No, it's right here. There it is. It's leaking. One of our secondary drains, one of our safety pans is full of water. It's dripping rusty water down on the house. This is a sewer clean out, and it seems like it might. I have no idea what's in there, but I can say that cloth tape is probably not the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Got a little vertical crack through the parge coat. The thing about parge coat is like cake frosting. Alright, just because the parge coat is cracked doesn't mean your foundation's cracked. And just because it's not cracked doesn't mean your foundation's not cracked either. And it's, goes at separate, rates than the brickwork. It expands and contracts at different rates than the concrete slab. So it creates voids behind it that termites can use to take advantage and come into your house undetected. This is the water heater piping. So I see we got two water heaters and 2 safety pans. And the safety pan, okay, it's supposed to be between 6 and 24 inches from the ground. That's okay. Now the water heater itself, it's supposed to be between 3 and 6 inches from the ground. So this piping is a little high. I get it. It's a detail, a technicality. It's a large part of my job, actually, is making everybody aware of some of these technicalities. And then we got some cracking soil, could have been watered better. Lawn sprinkler heads should not be closer than 4 inches to a structure. They should not be closer than 4 inches to the flatwork.